I am not here to tell you how amazing I am. That's not where we're going with this. At 18, I decided that it was time to possibly take a different kind of job. I had worked at a Tasty Freeze, a summer camp, a grocery store, and I thought it was time to grow up and take an adult job in a restaurant, waiting tables, and watch all those cash tips pour over me, because that was my understanding. You brought food and drink to the table, and then they left your spending money there for you, and it sounded amazing. I had to readjust my expectations almost immediately. It turns out there are skills and personality traits that one needs to succeed. Serving tables, things like remembering to turn in the order that your customers just or noticing that they need a refill, or refraining from asking your customers if they're ready to wrap it up. Your shift's about over and they're like having a camp out. So I had none of those skills and personality traits. I went to Conway for college. I took a job with a friend of mine named Heather at Mazzio's Pizza. And it became apparent immediately that Heather was exceptionally gifted at customer service, which only served to highlight how hideously terrible I was. Most of the customers at Mazzio's despised me, and the feeling was mutual. But my paychecks, it was a minimum wage job, and nobody tipped at Mazzio's except Heather, to Heather, and so my paychecks didn't reflect my abysmal customer service skills. But I stayed out of trouble for the most part until the very end, when I decided it'd be a good idea to start dating a tattooed pizza cutter that none of the management liked, who shared my enthusiasm for celebrating the end of a shift by shooting tequila. But by the time these things had begun to happen, I was already transferring to the University of Arkansas and moving away from Conway, so their opinion on what I was up to was not interesting to me anymore. Jobs at just how bad I was with dealing with people in these types of situations. Mazzio's inexplicably did not fire me for shooting and then spilling tequila on pizzas one night. So I was flying high, you know, on how easy jobs are. I moved into a house with 3 other women in Fayetteville. Erin Von Felt here at Bordino's is one of them. And Heather from Mazzio's. And all of those women still either work full-time and completely supplement their pretty enjoyable lifestyles, or completely support it through restaurant work. It's easy, they told me. You just anticipate the customer's needs, charm them, make them feel special, act as an ambassador between them and the kitchen. It's really not that hard. So once again, my friend Heather invited me to come work with her. She was making money hand over fist at a place called Outback Steakhouse. And there were 2 drawbacks that she felt like weren't that big of a deal, but she wanted to let me know. You do have to wear a hideous polyester man shirt that was either banana yellow, grape purple, or fire engine red, and indigo blue jeans, not blue jeans. You would be sent home for blue jeans. Indigo blue jeans. So you looked hideous all the time. You also had to work on a flare system, meaning that you, I know. If a customer gives a compliment about you, then you get a little pin for your man shirt. And it would be like an outline of Australia or a piece of steak. I wouldn't know, because in the 9 months that I worked there, I earned 0 pieces of flair. There were afternoons that I would stand in my friend Heather's closet, because she had so much flair. She'd been there 2 months longer than me. She had so much flair that it couldn't fit on one shirt. You could do the front, the back and possibly down her indigo jeans, and still you would have flair left over. And I thought about stealing just one or two because it was so embarrassing. But that was even more embarrassing, getting caught stealing my friend's flair. So I didn't do it. And it was about that time that I started to realize that there are things that you just have to accept about yourself sometimes, especially at certain ages. And at 21, I just could not bring myself to care about the happiness or even my customers getting their most basic needs met. I sincerely thought if I'd filled a water glass twice, this dialogue started happening. Are you a camel? Do you have an undiagnosed medical condition? Take control of your life and walk that cup to the bathroom and fill her up because I can't keep up with this any longer. I also couldn't help but feel like when I got comments like, well, I wanted a warm pink center and I got a cool pink center, and I would have to feel like, you know what? Is this the first time that you've experienced disappointment in your life? I don't understand how upset you're getting right now. It's a little crazy. Sometimes things don't work out the way we want them to. Sometimes that happens at Outback Steakhouse. I'm not in charge of your karma. Perhaps you got soggy vegetables tonight because you're a shitty person. Your demeanor really makes me feel that way. It's not surprising in hindsight that I was never nominated for any flair at Outback. But my bare shirt brought me nothing but confused disappointment and anger, which is how everyone who spent a night in my section felt after that. And my continual failure at this job was starting to erode the already shallow reserves of kindness and compassion that I had for the strangers that showed up every night. And I was having trouble caring about their dietary concerns or their issues in general. I understand that you're trying to lose weight. I will refrain from bringing basket after basket of bread to your table. But if you ask me questions that assume that I'm a nutritionist, I'm going to make it up, because I'm not. I don't know if corn is a good carb or a bad carb. I'm still on the fence. And if you order alcohol, I'm definitely going to card you because it will save me trips to the bar and I'm lazy. And if I get one of those fines, I will definitely be homeless and destitute like tomorrow, because at that point I was working for free at Outback because the tips were not happening. And I also know that being hearing impaired is not a reason to suspect that someone might be a complete butthole. And so I have an aunt who was hearing impaired. She was completely delightful. She didn't run around town harassing servers and making their lives miserable. So I was not prepared when my last customer on my last night at Outback Steakhouse sat down silently, and his wife, who was very sweet, turned to me and said, and I'm quoting, "He is deaf. I will be communicating for him, and I need to let you know that he's finicky." And I thought, okay, good cop, bad cop, somebody at the table's a dick. And everybody else compensates for it. I know what's happening here. Guess who else is a dick? 21-year-old me. And she said that he must have unsweetened tea and it must not go below half full or he begins to get very irritated. And I nodded, but I was not going to be waiting for the critical moment that his tea glass reached half full. The management let us smoke cigarettes in the bathroom, so I'm busy like every 5 minutes. Next, I'm told that my deaf customer does not like the way his chicken smells. He knows foul poultry when it is put before him, and he cannot eat it. So I pick it up, and I smell it, and she says, you know, he has a very heightened sense of smell. And I think, well, if Daredevil here can understand or perceive things that the rest of us can't, I don't know how we can accommodate him. But I took the chicken back, and probably like a good 20 minutes, half an hour later, I returned with a fresh piece of chicken. And I was standing there when they left their money and checked out. They left me exact change and then 3 pennies for me. And I did not punch him, he was paying. I did not snatch his wallet and take what was mine. I waited for his wife to be out the door and for him to have his back to me, and I said, well, fuck you too. And I felt a hand on my shoulder. My manager had observed the whole thing, and I said, it's okay. He can't hear, so. And he waved at all the other people that were in my section. And he said, I think you need to consider a different field. And this was great because I was not making any money there. I had already taken a second job to supplement basically paying Outback for me to go work there. So I had another job working for the Walton Arts Center, also known as the WAC, and you could work at the mall information booth, kind of have a double employer, and you could sling Broadway tickets and give people instructions on how to get to the mall or Claire's or wherever it was that they were going. And in general, I could read and tell people there's the bathroom. And in this capacity, I could get along with like 70 to 80% of the WAC and mall clientele. I wasn't winning any customer service awards for my kind of very tightly wound adult braces wearing mall boss, but I was staying off her radar and things were going great until a little Christian like gift store called Noah's Ark that was really close to our booth. They decided that they were going to take a hard line with our system of always sending people who wanted to rent a stroller to stores around us. Instead of us giving them change, we would send them out. So a woman, I'd already had a little bit of trouble with them before that, and at this point, I know it's shocking. But Noah's Ark was not. They were taking a hard line, even if violence was required. They were not giving out any of their Jesus Plus coins to quarterless mothers anymore. And this irritated me because I'd already had to deal with them. About 2 weeks before, one of their customers had come to my desk and she demanded to know why there was only one Christian store in the mall. She wanted to have a political debate. She wanted me to take responsibility for the Satan-loving corporations that signed my paychecks. And I remember very clearly that I was reading Handmaid's Tale, so I was really busy. Did not want to deal with her. And even if I hadn't been busy, I did not and I do not care how many Christian versus non-Christian stores occupy the rentable space of the Northwest Arkansas Mall. And I told her, you know, everybody has to make sacrifices. There's only one bookstore in here and it offends my sensibilities. And I work all the Sundays and I can't get any waffle fries because Chick-fil-A is closed. I know how you're feeling, but these things I cannot change. And she was not having it. And I told her, you're out of my pay scale, just go to the mall office. And she said, I will. And I said, you do it. She didn't. She went to Noah's Ark. And she came back about 20 minutes later, and she was still, her face was still encased in rage. She wouldn't make eye contact with me, but she had a little, like, it looked like a business card, and she slid it across my desk angrily. And I flipped it over, still confused, because she would not look at me, and it said, I'll pray for you. And frankly, I did not believe her. So she turned around, and I tossed it into the trash. But I had made it onto Noah's Ark's radar by then, and now we're at war because the WAC and the mall has forbid us from giving change, even though we clearly have a cash drawer in case someone needs to use cash to buy tickets to Stomp or the Nutcracker. And I frankly was really happy with this policy because I loved saying no. if I didn't have to get into that drawer 50 times a day, that was so much more reading for me. And I'd love to know anyway, because just like patrons everywhere I'd ever worked, I didn't like them, they didn't like me. So, I'm sorry, the computers are down. No, you can't buy tickets today. And I loved it when the little punk kids at the mall wanted to use the phone to get a ride home. No, you can't use the phone. No, you can't have change. And do I have a lost and found like I am working in a daycare? No. Big people have to keep track of their own things. No, I can't help you. No, no, no. But with people that wanted stroller change, it wasn't just no, it was and also Noah's Ark is waiting for you to come down there and try to get some quarters. Oddly, I don't remember the woman that actually caused my demise. I only know that she came to me freshly emboldened with anti-mall propaganda from Noah's Ark. I had sent her there, she had come back, and she was enraged. And she tried to demand that I give her change, because I knew full and well that Noah's Ark wasn't going to do it when I did it. I'd set her up, she was pissed. And I told her, I don't know what to tell you, I'm sorry, that was a mistake, you're right. Sorry. No change for you. So she goes home and begins composing a letter. And the next time I came to work, my braces wearing boss was at my desk. She had what appeared to be a scroll in her hand. It was a long fax. And never had she ever had to read something so negative about one of her employees. This woman probably would never come back to the mall, and she had lost all of her faith in humanity based on the troll that they had working at the mall information booth. And I did not show much remorse. I insinuated that possibly the author was insane, and I just wasn't sorry. And I don't remember if she fired me. I didn't care. Maybe. But the interesting thing is, pretty soon after that, I actually found my calling. I took a job and was on the floor in just a few weeks at a residential treatment facility for juvenile sex offenders. And I know it sounds unpleasant on its face, but for me, it was great, because most of what I did in the 10 years that I worked there in various capacities was say no. No, I will not stop writing you up for burping, fuck you, Miss Amber. Just because you burped an apology. No, you may not call me Miss Fat Ass Cough Breath instead of Miss Amber. But good one. But you're still getting trouble. No, I can't believe that you took a fork into the bathroom and plucked your braces off. That is amazing. But I can't believe it. But it wasn't the no's that made it my calling. It was the yeses. Yes, I'm amazed at how much you've changed in just a few months. And yes, I did know that you could be really great at school. Yes, I believe that you deserve forgiveness and that you are truly sorry. And yes, I think you deserve compassion and kindness and to be treated like a human being. And I'm so glad to finally have a job where I can be brutally honest, and the people I'm working with can be brutally honest with me. Because all along, that was something that was really kind of hard for me. They're all acting. When you're in customer service, a lot of it is an act. You have to act like it's okay that they sent their food back for the 3rd time, and you don't really, your feet don't hurt that bad, and you're not really, having a really hard day. Just act, act, act. And it was hard for me to act, and it's still hard for me to act even on the other side of it, because if you've done it for more than a day or two, you know that everyone in customer service gets treated like crap kind of a lot. Because some people believe that if they sit down at a table and they have a servant for an hour, then that makes them a lord. And unfortunately for me, that was all that I could see. And I think that was part of why I was so terrible at it. There's also the part where I barely know how to add or subtract, and I'm rude and forgetful. And I think that that's why I'm so impressed and have so much regard for the people that do it and do it so well. And a little bit of jealousy, too. Thank you.